Hi, we're Tom and Jodie.
And this is our review of Urban Flow for the Nintendo Switch. Urban Flow is a fun little party game about managing traffic, currently on sale at a 90% discount for £1.34 or $1.99. The basic premise is that you control various traffic lights throughout a variety of levels, and have to get as many cars through as safely as possible. Cause too many crashes, and you fail the level.
As the levels progress, Urban Flow throws new features at you to keep things fresh. These range from traffic lights, which are bound together, and special vehicles like ambulances, which have to be rushed through before a timer runs out, all the way to tanks, which ignore your lights altogether.
Controls are simple. Use the face buttons and the occasional shoulder button to turn the lights on and off, and that's about it. Co-op mode splits the lights between the players, 2 in our case, and pushes you to communicate with each other to succeed.
Urban Flow's presentation is lively and clean. With a low-poly style that is both charming and, more importantly, easy to read. The accompanying soundtrack is a fantastic medley of trip-hop and future funk, infused throughout with a relaxing, jazzy motif. The good.
At its core, Urban Flow is incredibly simple, but extremely fun. Especially in a co-op setting where the added need for communication makes gameplay feel like a real team endeavour. When you get into the groove, the game becomes a seamless experience that toes the line perfectly between intense and relaxing. What by all counts should be a repetitive gameplay loop never becomes so, and the game continues to challenge and impress us with almost every new level, of which there are 100.
A better score never feels out of reach, and failure never feels unfair. It's an extremely hard game to put down. On top of that, the visuals and the audio come together harmoniously to provide a thoroughly charming backdrop to its simplistic gameplay.
The bad. As great as Urban Flow is, it's not perfect, although the first 20 levels may as well have been. Beyond that, it's clear the developers wanted to add more variety to the gameplay, in the form of new features. Garbage trucks that drop hazards for other vehicles, foggy screens which need to be cleared by flicking the joystick, and so on. The irony here is that they actually detract from the experience, instead of adding to it. We savoured levels, which ditched these add-ons in favour of the almost infinite complexity that can be achieved without them, at least as far as the first 2 chapters of the campaign.
In a similar vein, the only power-up available in the game, which allows players to slow down time, feels borderline useless. We personally never used it. A smaller issue is a purely co-op one. The split between players can often feel a little unfair, with one player having a few more lights to manage than the other. But thankfully, this isn't a common issue. Although we got the game at a hefty discount, its usual $15 asking price is a little steep, and we definitely recommend waiting for a sale.
The verdict. All in all, Urban Flow achieves exactly what it's going for. A well-executed balance of intense gameplay and relaxing ambience that's best enjoyed with friends, or your other half. The simplicity of its design is only rarely marred by a few unnecessary features in what is otherwise an incredibly solid concept that never gets repetitive.
If Urban Flow had maintained the purity of its first 20 levels throughout the remainder of its campaign, it would have been easy to give it a 5 out of 5. But for us personally, the overcomplication in stages beyond take a little bite out of this otherwise brilliantly executed game. The charming aesthetics and soundtrack is icing on a very tasty little cake.
We'll be giving Urban Flow a 4 out of 5.
We'd like to thank Switchheads for letting us do this review, and as always,
life is better when we switch together.